Okay, today we're going to solve cube root functions. It's just like solving for x. You go through the same steps. You save the cube root for last, and you always do the opposite to get rid of something. So that's what we're going to do today. We're only going to do the front side of that worksheet. The worksheet is the same thing as your notes. So you have notes at the top of your worksheet, and then you have, I think, 9 problems to do today. And so don't worry about the back. And the back is the one that doesn't have this as the first example. So if you see this example at the top, that's the side you want to do. Okay. So we're going to go through an example. I'm going to go through a few problems that y'all might have questions on to hopefully help you guys out. So the first example, like I said, what you want to do is get that cube root by itself. So you want to save it for last. The opposite of subtracting 2 is adding 2. Okay, so we have 2 cube root of 5x plus 1 equals 12. Now make sure that 3 on the radical is really small. You don't want to accidentally make a big 3 and now you think it's a 23 outside the radical. Okay, so just make sure you keep it small so you know it's a cube root and not an actual 3 outside. Okay, like I said, we're saving the cube root for last. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So we have the cube root of 5x plus 1 equals 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now, the way to get rid of a cube root is to do the opposite. So the opposite of cube rooting something is cubing it. So we're going to take it to the 3rd power. And that's going to cancel out this cube root and that 3rd power. They're going to cancel each other out. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we have 5x plus 1 equals 6 cubed is going to give us 216. Alright, so now it's back to normal algebra equations. Save the x for last, so I'm going to subtract 1. So 5x equals 215, divide by 5. And 215 divided by 5 is 43. So x equals 43. Okay, so that's what y'all are doing today. There's no reason why you shouldn't get done with this paper. You'll probably have extra time. But we're just solving for x. One of the problems I want to do is number 1. So go to number 1. And if you need extra room to solve your equation, there's scratch paper over here that you can use. Okay. Now, number 1 says x to the 1/3 power. That is the same thing as cube rooting it, if you remember from rational exponents. But let's say you didn't know that. You didn't know that that is cube rooting something. If you want to get rid of this fraction in the exponent, just take it to the power, like the reciprocal power is what I meant to say. So instead of taking it to the 1/3 power, if I do the reciprocal and flip it, it's 3 over 1. Okay? And that will cancel out those exponents. 1/3 and 3, those are going to cancel out. Okay? What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So x equals 8 cubed, and 8 cubed is 512. Okay, so that's number 1. I want to do 2 more problems that I think you might have issues with. So let's look at number 2. Okay, on number 2, you want to save the cube root for last. Okay, so the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So we have the cube root of x equals 4. Okay. The opposite of cube rooting something is cubing it. So we're going to cube both sides. And 4 cubed is 64. Last example I want to do is number 4. Okay, so look at number 4. We want to save our cube root for last. That's everything to that 1/3 power. Save that for last. So the opposite of subtracting 1 is adding 1. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. 3x plus 4 to the 1/3 power equals 27. Okay. The opposite of cube rooting something is cubing it. So we are going to take that to the 3rd power, and that's going to cancel out your exponents. And we're left with 3x plus 4. Now, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So 27 cubed is 19,683. Save your x for last. So I'm going to subtract 4 to both sides. So 3x equals 19,679. Divide by 3. And x equals, you get a decimal. We'll go ahead and round it. 6,559.7. Okay, so you're going to do the other 6 problems and turn it in at the end of class. All right, y'all have a good day.